Let me tell you a story. Yesterday, I went on a 53-kilometer walk, and here's where I need to tell you something about me. I have walked long distances since like before I got on self improvement. I got on self improvement in January of 2023, and my first ever long walk, I did it in I think May or at the start of June of 2022. So even before I got on self improvement, even when I was playing video games 10 hours a day, I was still in this habit of walking a lot. I would say periodically, sometimes I would occasionally go out and walk, I don't know, 40 kilometers. But this is the thing, which I did for like 2 years straight. And my personal record before that was 44 kilometers. And I actually attempted on this walk when I went for 44 kilometers to walk 56, but I failed miserably because I was approaching I don't know 45th kilometer or something like that, and my legs just they they were in total agony. I cannot even explain the how much pain I was feeling back then when I walked that walk almost a year ago. It was almost a year ago, and I quit. I quit walking. This is not some sexy story for me to tell you about how I just went through this resilient through this I pushed with this resiliency through those kilometers and just walked my way through to the end. No, I didn't. I quit, and the thing is, for the next year, I kind of felt like it. I was somewhat guilty. I was somewhat guilty because first of all, of course, the feeling of the pain, it just fades throughout the time. So for example, when I walked that 44-kilometer walk, of course, that pain, because of which I quit, it was so bad. It's like I had to make the decision to quit it. And it was not an easy decision before, because before that, I have walked I don't know, 6 or 7 times of those long walks, and I haven't quit yet. And so this decision to quit, it was not trivial at all. It was not one and done thing. It's it was tough for me to quit. But of course that feeling of pain, it fades throughout the time. And at some moment I was started to think that I just quit because of my laziness and because of my unwillingness to go further. And so the thing that I did is that in my yearly goal list, which is pinned right here at the board in front of me, I wrote that I should walk 53 kilometers from X to Z. I'm not going to tell you the names of the train stations because of course for privacy, for private reasons, you probably understand, but okay. And here's the thing. I walked this distance yesterday. I didn't quit. I pushed all the way to the end, and I have beaten my record by 9 kilometers, which is, if you think about it, it is absolutely insane. It is out of this plan. This is I cannot even comprehend how much of an achievement that is, because 9 kilometers might not seem like a big distance, but the problem is that, and this is what I've learned, after you have walked 40 kilometers or so, the pain grows exponentially throughout each kilometer that you walk. And so here's where I think I should start the story. So I arrive at the place where I should start at literally 7 a.m. And from there on, I started walking. The first kind of 35 kilometers, they were easy. And usually, when I walk those distances, I plan stops. I plan those like pauses where I'm going to sit. Maybe I'll eat something, hydrate myself. So, like, I plan those stops. This time I haven't. This time I didn't plan any stops, any like breaks. And the only break that I had was on the 34th kilometer. And when I walked that, so on this point, 34 kilometers, I just want to like I just want to eat something. And I have already like whilst I was walking, I planned that yeah, I'm going to go to this like bakery at the center of my city, and I'm going to eat there, and then I'm going to continue walking. I haven't realized how much kilometers I have walked by that point. And so when I approached that bakery and I just looked at my phone, it's like, okay, the distance to from me to like the place where I started, I got just blown away. I got absolutely blown away. It was 34 kilometers. And I have walked last year, at the start of last year, and at the end of January, I have walked 32 kilometers. And to walk that distance, I had to make like two breaks. I had to make two pauses. And this time I just walked this like without pauses, just like a raw walk. And to some degree, I was shocked, to say the least. But then what I did is that like okay, I had my like sandwich that I bought, I drank some water, like reached like I charged my phone a little bit, and okay, from there on I continued. From this moment, one of the problems that is, and this is like something which to some degree brings even a smile on my face. I had just my phone's battery just started playing games with me because first of all like this is just something, so sorry if I like just mumble sometimes because of course you probably understand like I walked yesterday like more than half 100 kilometers and I'm a little bit underslept right now, so bear with me. But here's the thing, my phone's battery was at 30% at that point, and I needed to walk 19 kilometers more. And you know, I just like Google said that it will take me like 4 hours to get there. It's like, you know, it's fine because the original sort of time that Google told me that it will take me to walk that distance was 12 hours and 4 minutes. I remember 2 minutes exactly. And the thing is, from like I have walked the pretty much the same route last year on one of my walks, except for like those like extensions from my city, from where of course I need to get those like 53 kilometers because the distance that I have walked last year was 35. So you probably understand that like I need to get some, like those 18 kilometers somewhere else, and I just need to extend my walk like outside of my city. But okay, and so I'm walking, and my phone's battery is like at 20% at that point. And at some point, I'll leave the route which I already know, so I don't need like Google Maps or some shit like that to walk. And I just put my plane on airplane mode. I turn off all of the podcasts. I turn off all of like all of the shit on my phone. And the thing is, this is something which this walk has taught me. It is so valuable to spend your time alone without like distractions, without your like phones and screens, etc., etc. It is so bloody valuable to do so. No one in the modern day does this. No one in the modern day just turns off all of their like screens and and all of the like the electronic stuff, and just sits alone with his thoughts and just thinks about something. Like I have sometimes I see like those ads of like I don't know like some plastic case for like phones which you can use in the shower to like scroll on your phone even there, because like shower when you're taking a shower or you're taking a bath, this is perhaps the only time except sleep when you're like actually without any distractions. This is the only time in your day when you're without distractions and you can think about something without like external stimulation. And throughout this walk I have listened to like two podcasts, and then I stopped listening because like my phone's battery just like, as I said, played games with me. So I'm walking, and at some point, and it was around 45 kilometers, I would say. So I walked 45 kilometers. I have already beaten my record at that point, and things were a bit tough before, I would say. Like my legs hurt a bit. I didn't feel as good. Of course, like I have walked like 45 kilometers. It's like damn, like my legs are going to hurt. But I still need to walk 8 kilometers more. And here's where the pain starts growing so bad. Like it was such a dreadful feeling of pain that I had yesterday. I cannot even explain it in words because, okay, at the point of like 45 kilometers, the pain just starts growing like, as I said, I cannot even explain how painful it was. And I have this like war, literally war, like in my mind, which on one side, my brain tells me, like, okay, it's time to quit because, like, the pain is just unbearable. It was, as I said, like, I'm saying this for the third time, but I cannot even explain in words how much pain I experienced yesterday at this like point when I walked more than 45 kilometers, because it not only did my like feet hurt, my soles, I don't know, like calves, quads, hamstrings, mine, just like the whole body, like it hurt just unbearably. And so at this point I started to like, the question of quitting that just started to arise. And here is where here's where I'm actually like, I'm going to say like, this is something that I'm proud of. I had a couple of reasons. Like on the previous walk of like 44 kilometers, I quit because I had no reason to go further. I had no reason. This time this is literally, this walk is written on my board. And so it's one of my yearly goals. And if I quit it right now, I would have to like walk it once again. And just my mindset is completely different from that last walk last year, because this time I'm like actually like I have like actually, what do you call it, like somewhat like a warrior mindset right here, where I'm thinking in all of those like ways where like, for example, like can you take one more step, can you go like 1 kilometer further. It's like it was tough, but it was tough with like a meaning to it, because this walk has taught me just a whole lot about resiliency. It is not the resiliency of doing like the last reps in the gym where like you're already at the point of failure, your muscles are already like sore and like they're about to fail. It is not, the pain is not even close to that. It's like the pain of doing those like last reps in the set, it hurts, But when you have walked 40, like some 47 kilometers, and you know you need to go like six more, and your legs, and you just feel like you have been dragged through the desert. This is a whole different universe of pain, not even like level. This is just something, this is just something else. This is another league. This is just the pain that you will never experience in the gym, in like any of the physical. It's like this hurts, and it hurts so much more. It's like I would confidently say this was the worst pain of my life, physically, I mean. It was the worst pain of my entire life. And you know what was even like a bit worse in this moment? That I knew I had to walk 6 kilometers more. The feeling of this this exhaustion in your body, combined with understanding of how much more you need to walk further, it is brutal. It is brutal. And at some point I was walking, and I'm already like, I'm already hungry. I'm like, I have no war. I have no, I'm like, my phone is like at 5% battery or something like that. And I just see like a sign which tells like, okay, like, to that station where I need to go to. It was 3,9 kilometers or something like that. And honestly, like, you might think that 3.9 kilometers is not much, but for me it was like climbing up the mountain of Everest. It was just so tough. I cannot even explain. And I get my phone, I quickly check on the Google Maps, and Google Maps tells me that I have to walk in like 4 and 6 kilometers. This is just some like, this is something brutal. And at that point, like a kilometer later, I experienced like the worst pain of this entire walk. I was literally walking with my eyes closed because I was so tired. I was so like exhausted from the whole walk. I was walking like 12 hours at that point. This is something that you also need to understand. I was walking for 12 hours at that point. 12. And as I was walking to the end, I was walking throughout the forest, and this was a point where I got like this, like a little bit of energy, so I wasn't walking with like my eyes closed and just like hoping that it would end soon. But I see a gas station. Like, it's like I have walked 3 kilometers throughout the forest, and you probably understand what it means. Like, I have been walking near like the paved road. I haven't been walking through like some trails or something like that. It's like I have walked through just like a normal road, but it is forest, and there's no civilization there. There's just some like cars, and maybe a bus will pass by. And then I see like a gas station, and that means that like I'm already approaching the city which I need to like I need to go to. And this city was my endpoint, and I knew when I would leave this forest to get to this train station, it would take me like just some like a couple of 100 meters, so it's not something dramatic. At that moment, when I see the gas station, is probably like the happiest moment of my life, because I knew for a fact that okay, it would end soon. And I walk a kilometer more. It all ended. I'm on the train station. I just sit down on the bench, and bloody hell, it's like I didn't even realize how much pain I experienced throughout this walk. And a couple of like minutes later, as I was switching the trains, I just walked out, and I just walked out of the train, and I just felt like this, what do you call this, the feeling of just feeling ill, like like my teeth were chattering, literally. I'm not even taking a piss right now. Like my teeth were chattering at this point. I don't know why it happened. I don't know. It wasn't like cold outside or something like that. Maybe it's just like the the feeling of walking, the feeling that you get after walking more than half 100 kilometers. And so today it is somewhere around like 6 a.m. right now, and I whilst I was recording this video, I should have been on my morning walk. I didn't like go out today because, of course, you probably understand. It's like my whole body right now hurts, and my my cognitive functions right now are just not there. So sorry if I was like mumbling and saying some gibberish throughout this video. It's like bear with me, man. Bear with me. Like my brain just just doesn't work, and I'm a little bit underslept because I woke up today at I I went to bed yesterday at 10 something p.m. when I usually go to bed at 9, and I woke up at the same time today. It's like 5:30. And I didn't even put an alarm clock today. It's like it's just my circadian rhythms. And so with that, I hope it was inspiring. I hope it was an inspiring story, and I hope this will help you. And see you in the next one.